Hello everybody and welcome back again to Let's Play Fallout New Vegas. So, in the previous episode I finished the final DLC of this game, Lonesome Road. And I did mention that I would like to share a few thoughts on that DLC and maybe give a bit of an opinion. And I still intend to do so. However, before I go ahead with that, I will actually head back into the DLC because I've been told in the comments that apparently I can talk to Ulysses again. And who wouldn't want to do that, right? So we're going to head back inside and see if we can find him. However, there's one thing I can already tell you about the DLC. I've been saying at times that the whole thing felt kind of pointless, but it actually served a purpose for me because I think it helped me make my final decision in regards to the endgame. Now, when I started the DLC, I would say my mind was made up like 80 to 90%, so I had a pretty good idea what I wanted to choose for the endgame, but I wasn't entirely certain. And playing the DLC actually, confirmed my choice and helped me overcome my last bit of doubt. So yeah, I made my decision now, I would say, and I have Ulysses to thank for it. Make of that what you will. And of course I will explain my choice and my reasons in probably far too much detail and for far too long once we continue with the main mission, which might not be today, but maybe in the next episode we will see. But yeah, for now, let's just head back into the Divide and let's see if we can find Ulysses hanging around somewhere. Oh, that actually might be him over here, huh? Just sitting around, staring into the distance. Well, let's talk.
Full circle. Walked your road. Now back again.
Apparently.
Something else in you needing an answer.
Well, I'm always looking for answers, and if you're willing to give them to me, we can probably have a nice little chat here. There are quite a few dialogue options. So yeah, what exactly are you doing here? Just staring into the abyss?
A question one could have asked you not long ago, before walking the road west into the storms. Need to be here. See what was done. It's custom of the bear to never see the marks it claws in the land. Not my custom. Maybe that's why you've come too. Need to see where the missile from Ashton touched ground down below in Hopeville. The Courier's mile.
Okay, so it actually did touch ground somewhere. What's the Courier's mile? Is that where Ashton missile hit? That's basically exactly what he just told me. What about the marked man? The Divide's irradiated. Are you sure you want to stay here? Sure. Let's talk about the Courier's mile a bit more.
My name for it. If you have a better one, you grant it. My choice in names won't carry past you and I. Lies along the road, running from the Hopeville silo, straight onto where the ground burns and wind howls even stronger than here.
Okay, sounds charming. Maybe I'm going to call it Hera's mile. Courier's mile sounds so impersonal, don't you think? Okay, let's talk about the marked men. What about them?
That's part of why I'm here. Watch them. If they attack me, try to enter the Mojave. I answer. Not looking to kill them. Save them, if I can.
Interesting.
There might be something saving in them. If not, then what I do is mercy, not murder.
Well, I certainly wish you luck with that. That certainly seems like a more noble cause than trying to launch missiles at the Mojave. Yeah, and you still want to stay here, even if there's radiation?
The invisible fires burn here, true enough. Still, to have helped carry out such an act, then not face it, not my way. If my life burns out here, so be it. Until then, I wait and watch, See what the road brings.
Okay, well, like I said, good luck with that. Yeah, I think I had more questions.
Something else in you needing an answer?
Like I said, I'm always looking for answers. Can you tell me again what you're doing here? That is for those people who have like memory like a sieve, which I sometimes actually have. So it's not a bad thing that you can basically repeat your questions, I suppose. Yeah, Caesar's dead. I killed him. I don't know. What do you think about that? Or should I say Kaiser?
Names die twice to history. If the West thanks you, the East won't in time. Fall apart. Back to the tribes, maybe. Too soon to tell what will happen. Let history weigh what you've done, if it gets that far.
Huh. Are you angry at all? He doesn't seem angry. I wasn't sure how you'd take it. I couldn't care less about history and even less about Caesar. That's true. Hera certainly didn't kill Caesar for a place in the history books, so I guess I'll pick this option.
Wasn't his time, and wouldn't have been how he wanted to die.
Probably not.
Not how most would have wanted him to die either.
Killed by a woman.
Bear or bull. Unless you do the same for the legate that comes. You'll get no thanks from me. When that monster arrives, he's not going to have a leash. Kaiser could command him. Not now. The bear is going to burn, and burn slow.
Are you talking about Legate Linnaeus? I mean, if I have to, I will try to kill him as well. As a matter of fact, if I can kill him now, I would go and attempt to do so. There's a landmark about the Legate's camp, right? I just figured that I couldn't go there because it's on the other side of the Colorado. But honestly, I haven't actually tried to go there. Maybe I should try to reach that camp. Okay, so is this where you're making camp?
Not a camp. Vigil, maybe. Never claimed it as mine. If anyone owns the divide, your claim is stronger than mine. Don't feel like adding a campfire to the ones that already burn below. If you brought Mojave gifts, might be able to shape something for the road.
Meaning what? Oh, recipes. I have some materials I've gathered if you wanted to take a look. Yeah, maybe? I mean, I usually don't carry a lot of crafting materials with me. I usually just store them in the Lucky 38 and, craft whenever I need something at my crafting bench back then. But maybe you want something of whatever I have.
Let's make something new from the old.
Recipes, rushing water. Huh. 50% attack speed. That seems like a pretty neat water. I didn't realize I have this. Or is this a recipe you just taught me? So basically, he's a crafting bench and he can craft stuff for me. Let's make some rushing water. I mean, I have a lot of jets. I only have one purified water. But still, I'll take it. Oh, and now I'm not talking to you anymore.
Something else in you needing an answer.
Let's try this again. Yeah, any recipes you can teach me.
Depends what history has to say about them. There's a lot the land can provide, if you know the road that led to it. Mojave's got ways of healing most ills. If not, some tribes have usually found a way you didn't expect. Like healing powders. Tribes back west only use Xander and Brock flour. There's a way the twin mothers in the east used to brew it, though. Called it bitter drink. Mixed up the Xander and Brock in a bottle. Added some kick to it, so your head doesn't get all clouded.
Interesting. I've seen the bitter drink on a lot of Legionnaire corpses, so I never really paid much attention to it. Maybe because of the not-so-appealing name. But sure, tell me the history of it.
History. Cures a wound, leaves the bitterness that caused it. The twin mothers were always about lessons. Caesar taught them the last one, though. So that's it for them. Recipe still exists. Legion uses it on forced marches with wounded soldiers. Wouldn't have made it through Crimson River Trail a few years back without it. Losing so much blood early on was a Cazador feast. Enough Xanderroot and Brockflower along the trail, though. The Legion was able to keep pace and get where they were going.
Okay, would you like to share these recipes with me, maybe?
Can do that, and one better. Just enough around to mix some. Here. Might make the twin mother's history live a little longer. You carrying it. When you drink it, down it all in one shot, or your stomach's not going to want to keep going after the second drink.
Okay, sounds great. Okay, so he gave me the bitter drink recipe and a few bitter drinks. Can you tell me again what we're doing here? I was hoping you could help me shape something. Any more recipes? I got your final message. Well, I don't know. Let's just ask for more recipes. Why not?
Nothing more than I've already shared.
All right.
We'll have to keep with what we know. Tired of history's lessons anyway.
I don't know. I have an interest in history, so if you want to tell me more about that, I wouldn't mind. Yeah, I think I had more questions, though.
Questions have a habit of making others.
Yeah, I got your final message.
Didn't think I'd be breathing to hear you say that. Message isn't important. Meaning is. Had to speak of it, in case the words got lost in paper, ink, or others' voices. Maybe even yours in time. Still meant for you. Courier to Courier. Belongs to you now. Or history. Doesn't matter.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Also, I'm pretty sure one of the reasons why you made a recording is you just like to hear yourself talk. Admit it. Yeah. Have you been to Hopewell since the Ashton missile hit? Tell me more about that.
Walk there sometimes. Keep the walks short. Still, it's important to see. Something else to answer for. Occasionally sift through the dust, the buildings. See if I can find some history, marks of America. If you want them, keep them. You've earned it. Nothing to be gained by me holding them. And more will surface in time.
Okay. Oh, he gave me a bunch of rockets. And radaways. And radexes. And food. And a pre-war book. That is random. Is it so I can write down what I find in Ashtonville? Find anything in the dust of Hopewell. I guess that's the same question that I just asked. Let's ask it anyway.
Nothing but wind, sand, ash. More may reveal itself in time. Not now. If you're determined, return. Might be something new surfaces.
Well, I guess I may as well. I've been through the Divide for no reason, may as well return to Ashtonville for no reason. Yeah, let's talk about Hoover Dam.
Old world wall, run red with blood of bear and bull. It'll bleed more before the sun sets on the Mojave. That place and I have a past. Owe it a debt, and it owes me. If your path takes you there, know you're not the only one. It's the wall by which this age will be measured, the gravestone of the Mojave. Old world never meant it as such.
Certainly not. It was more like supposed to bring life to the Mojave by, bringing water to cities and so on. I'm heading back to the Mojave to settle some things. I certainly have to settle a few things. But okay, I guess that actually was a pretty nice talk. He was significantly less cryptic than before, which confirms my suspicion that one of the reasons why he was being so cryptic and mysterious is to keep Hera curious and keep her going after him to find out what he's actually talking about, because I actually understood this for the most part, you know. It was less symbolism, still a little bit melodramatic, but much better than his previous dialogue. Alright, yeah, I guess I'll be heading back.
Can hear the weight in your feet. You're bound for that old world wall. Hoover Dam. Maybe not now. In time. Bear and bull shed too much blood there to let it go. Can't stop you from going. Wouldn't. A warning, though. The legate Lennius, whether Caesar stands or not, Lennius will come.
Yeah, we still have to deal with him. I mean, he has been mentioned a lot, but we haven't met him so far, right? I think I would remember that. Then again, I've been playing this game for almost a year now, so forgive me if I sometimes forget things. Yeah, tell me more about Legate Lennius.
Lennius, the butcher, monster, terror of the East. Not even his slaves have seen his face. Struck them blind so they can't. Wears a mask. Don't even know if it's the same man.
That's interesting.
He put Colorado to the sword. Broke the hangdogs by throwing their hounds upon the flames, so they might burn forever in the afterlife.
Right. I've heard about that. However, I think that's actually kind of a neat idea. If he's wearing a mask all the time and you don't really know who's behind the mask, the legate would basically be immortal, because once he dies you can just replace him with another. Clever. Why is he coming west? He's just one general, I can handle him. Well, if I were a slave or a dog, I'd be scared. Good point. I mean, I know why he's coming west, because they want to take over them. So, maybe I'm going to use a cocky reply for a change.
Lennius carries all the terrors of the East with him. He's the myth, the weapon the Legion needs. When he arrives, he'll fall on Hoover Dam like a hammer. Break the bear in two.
We'll see about that. Any idea on how to beat him? He must have a weakness. He crosses me, I'll break him. Well, maybe this time not the cocky answer, but maybe we can actually get some useful information out of him. Any idea how to beat him?
19 tribes could not do it. All the lights in Vegas cannot. His strength lies in his title, and it is his weakness. He will not fight a losing battle and destroy what he represents. Put the idea of loss in him. Convince him the bear will not be the 20th tribe beneath his heel. It will make him pause like nothing on earth. You do not need to convince him alone. Draw upon history. The past of other legates are not filled with victories. Remind Lennius of this.
Yeah, like the burnt man, Graham, right. I understand what you're telling me. You're actually making sense for a change. Why couldn't you have been like this before?
Yes. Graham was broken on the wall of the dam. Caesar had him burned and cast into the earth, into the largest canyon you've ever seen. Watched the flames trail all the way to the bottom. Somehow, Joshua walked away from that, went beyond Caesar's gaze. His footsteps trailing fire, walking from one hell, maybe to another. When one is ruined like Graham was, sometimes home is the only place left. If so, he went to New Canaan, Caesar's anger written on him like a book. Caesar's orders to the Frumentari were to watch for him, find Graham, kill him. Didn't try. Could've. No good would have come of it. Graham earned his life and his nature. It'll kill him more surely than any blade of the Legion. So, if you've heard word of it or seen sign of him, let it keep. Let his history keep.
I've seen more than just a sign of him. I actually saw him. I'll remember that. We'll leave it to history then. Enough whatever waited over them. I'm ready. I do find his advice interesting though. So if we can't defeat Legged Lanais, we just have to make him believe that we might defeat him and then he won't attack. I mean, that's interesting. Then again, I kind of would like to defeat him, if possible. It seems like a more permanent solution than just scaring him off for the time being, because then he would probably come back later once he thinks he can get the upper hand. I don't know. We'll see what we do with Lanais. I'm sure at some point we will have to confront him. But okay, yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
Then there is nothing more to be done. The Mojave awaits.
All right. I guess I'll heed your advice, and we will take care of Lanais once we actually find him. Yeah, there is actually a new landmark over here. Path to the Courier's Mile. It's next to the silo. So I could probably just fast travel here and then make my way back to this place that I destroyed. Guess I may as well give it a look, right? So sure, let's do it. Of course, I gotta be careful. We don't know if, like, enemies have respawned and I am on my own without Edie. Of course, I do wonder if I could theoretically bring companions into this place now. Now go back, pick up a companion and return. Also, apparently, I haven't destroyed this missile here. And for what it's worth, the missiles are definitely something that I want to talk about at some point. The Ashton missile as well as the other missiles that are just lying around here. Okay, so we definitely have a few marked men around here, but I mean, marked men are not the biggest problem. Okay, I will try to find the way into the Courier's Mile. Guess it's this way. Ah, there we go. Let's see. Travel to the Courier's Mile. Oh, this is like a completely new map. Sure, let's go. Ooh, what's going on here? Alright, we actually have some radiation here. Of course, I still don't have my radiation suit with me, so this might not be the best idea. I guess the breathing mask will at least protect me a little bit. Let's maybe combine those two. And I am going to take a Radix. There we go. Now, let's see. Do we have enemies around? Dared to venture into the Courier's Mile. Yeah, about that. Is it really worth it? Oh, a stealth boy. Take it. Well, I can... Oh, I think I see some enemies over here. And they're my favorite kind of enemies, Deathclaws. And I see at least 3 of them. That's just great. Yeah, there's no way in hell that I will be able to survive against 3 Deathclaws, because these can one-shot kill you. So I might be able to kill one of them, but the rest is going to destroy me. Unless maybe I find a nice high vantage point from where I can shoot them. Of course, it's gotta be a point where they can't they can't reach me. So honestly, this might not be the worst position. Of course, there's a lot of radiation here, so I'm not sure if this is such a great idea. But we'll see. Maybe I can snipe them. Oh, they irradiated death claws, of course. Because everything around here is irradiated. Okay, I mean, this actually works well so far. They haven't really found a way to get to me, apparently. Alright. And let's kill the last one. There we go. So far, so well. But, with that many radiation around, I feel I should have a proper radiation suit before I try to explore this place. I don't know. Let's try to venture a little bit deeper into... Yeah, now we're at +3 somewhere around here. So I probably won't be able to withstand that for very long. And, oh great, there's another Deathclaw. As a matter of fact, I think it's at least 2 of them. And this one is going to attack me. Yep, and they one-shot kill you. So yeah, I have to find like a place from which to snipe these as well, because otherwise I don't have a chance against them. But I feel that I should have a proper radiation suit before I attempt this. Otherwise I will die from radiation sooner or later. I don't know. I guess I'll give it another attempt. Of course, the next question again is it worth it? That kind of risk? What could possibly be in this place that is valuable enough for that? And my radiation is already increasing. Great. Yep, this is going fast now. I mean, I have a lot of radaways, so I hope I will be fine. And I mean, my radiation resistance is actually pretty good, and I still get sickness pretty quickly. So what am I going to do about you over here? Yep, that's like another 3 of them. Let's see. Is this a safe spot? It doesn't feel safe. It absolutely doesn't feel safe. But so far they're not trying to attack me. Oh, I can't shoot this one because the beam's in the way. Well, my radiation is okay-ish. Okay. This is actually working better than I thought. I must confuse their pathfinding. What the hell? Look at this. There's just death claws everywhere. I think I'll run out of ammo before this place runs out of death claws. Great. At least it looks like they can't actually attack me here. For now. Now, I still would like to go back and fetch an actual radiation suit. Of course, now I'm worried that if I go back and return, that the death claws respawn. And all of this will have been in vain. Oh boy. That's far too many of them in one spot. And I'm kind of floating in the air now. How awkward. Yeah, there's another one over here. I'm not sure if I can properly shoot that one. Oh boy. And now I'm down here. This isn't good. Let's try to get to our safe spot again. Right. There's still at least one that's alive. Oh boy. This one apparently found a way to get to me. That's just great. Let's see if we can kill it before it kills us. That was close! Alright. Alright. So far so good. I need some radaways. Lots of them. Are there any more of you around? I'm not seeing any. But I wouldn't be so certain that this is all of them. Oh, hang on a second. I think I just saw something else. Yep. That's a marked man. Actually, at least two of them. Let's see. We might be able to kill them from a distance. Yep. Now they've found me. There's at least another one. Of course, if they move too much, it's getting kind of difficult to shoot them. Also, they seem to be tougher than normal marked men. Huh. I'm not sure if I can properly reach this guy. Oh, I can. I totally can. And there's at least one more, I think. This is a very awkward way to fight them, but it's probably the safest one. And I mean, there's like a nuclear warhead over here. I'm not sure if I can destroy this one from over here. Oh, and radiation. I should have brought an actual radiation suit with me. Because like I said, I'm just worried if I leave now and return with a suit, that all the enemies will have respawned. Okay. Oh, and I think my Radix also is gone, which is why I'm getting radiated so quickly, right? Oh boy. Yeah, it's +4 over here. Ugh. Danger? Oh, I see. More marked men. Oh boy, oh boy. Someone is throwing. There are so many of them. First the death claws, and now all the marked men. And of course, the radiation is just constantly healing them, right? Yeah, I should not be here at the moment, I think. I should have better protection, as in radiation suit. Alright, let's see. Let's take care of this guy first. And oh, I need to heal first. Alright. Again, need to heal. Need to look after my condition as well. Radiation is still fine. Now let's see, can we kill this guy? Yep, we can. And now this one. And at least one more. Okay. Oh, there's another guy over here. I see. I see you. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Looks like that's all of them for now. Well. Let's see if we can at least get some decent loot out of this place. And let's make sure to quick save. Well, there's ammunition around. And they have even more ammunition. Markman patrol armor. It's a medium one. I'll take it. As a matter of fact, do I need to repair my current armor? Speaking of which, I think I'm actually going to wear it for a little bit more protection. Oh, I see. I can't carry all the stuff anymore because this one gave me extra carrying capacity. But honestly, there's gotta be some stuff that I picked up that I don't need. Let's see, what did I just pick up? Like the red glare. I'm just going to combine these two, I suppose. Alright, that's much better. Okay, at least I'm not seeing any more enemies, so let's make sure I'm fully healed up. And I'm going to make a very quick sweep of this place and see if I can find anything of value. And then we will finally leave again. Oh, I will take all of this. This actually has some value. I mean, in terms of ammo, this place is definitely not a bad place. Of course, I wasn't really in dire need of ammo, so there's that. But I still take all of it. I mean, this expedition has got to be worth something. So, yeah, I guess I'll look around this place a bit, try to pick up all the valuable loot I can find. And we'll see if there's more enemies around or if I manage to kill all of them. And I'm going to use a lot of radaways here. Alright, I have been running around this place for 5 to 10 minutes now. I found a ridiculous amount of ammo. I found some upgrades for the red glare, I believe, and some assorted other loot. Nothing too special except for maybe the upgrades, but I hope I haven't missed anything. If you think I have, I guess I can come back here, although I am worried that if I come back that all the enemies will have respawned, and I'm not going through this again, so if they have respawned, then whatever is here can just stay here. I don't care. Anyway, let's return to the Lonesome Road and finally the Mojave again. Because, like I said, I still want to talk a little bit about the DLC. And there still might be enough time left in this episode. Oh, what the hell? There's another Markman. Alright. Let's take care of him. Also, I didn't realize that I can bring up the key binding menu on the main screen. The game's almost over and I just learned something new. Anyway, let's return to the Mojave finally, and this time for real. So yeah, let's just fast travel back to the pass. And yep, Ulysses is still standing over here, or sitting and just looking into nothingness. Anyway, now that we are finally back in the Mojave for real, and now that we've properly finished the DLC, except for, you know, stuff like destroying all the nuclear warheads or whatever, let's talk a little bit about it. Yeah, there we go. I can actually bring up that menu. I didn't realize it until now. You never stop learning, I suppose. So let's get rid of the stupid mask. I'm not going to need this anymore. And I'm going to wear the Courier's duster again, because I like it. Alright, let's find a nice high spot, and then we will talk a little bit about the DLC. I don't have like that much to say, but a few thoughts on the DLC we just finished. As you may have noticed already, it was not my favorite DLC. As a matter of fact, I would say among all the DLCs for this game, it was my least favorite. That being said, however, there were actually a few things about the DLC that I did enjoy. For once, it's always nice to find like a new region and to experience new surroundings. And I actually thought the surroundings were pretty well done in this DLC. They had a lot more depth than a lot of the Mojave surroundings. They were very, you know, vertical, with, you know, towering canyons and buildings, and the scope of the destruction just seemed a lot more intense in the Divide, because I guess it was a lot more recent. The Mojave in comparison looks almost like cleaned up compared to the Divide, which looked a lot more apocalyptic, I suppose. So that was like a neat change of scenery that I appreciated. You know, the highway and the piles of rubble that we had to crawl through, and the sloped buildings. That was actually all pretty well done. Then we had like an interesting new enemy, the tunnelers. I mean, they were really irritating to fight, but I thought the concept was pretty interesting, and they looked pretty interesting. I actually thought that they almost looked kind of cute in a creepy way, with their giant eyes and their big mouth full of tiny sharp teeth. I don't know. They were an interesting invention, just visually for sure. So yeah, again, that was like a nice little addition to the game. And what the hell is going on now? I've never had that before either. Apparently, if you don't move the mouse for a while, then the camera is just starting to move around your character. Again, the game's almost over and I'm suddenly discovering all these things. Okay, let's just leave it like that. I'm not going to touch the mouse, and I'm just going to leave the camera wander like this. Why not? So yeah, these were two things that I liked about the DLC. And my favorite part about the DLC was definitely ED. I mean, I already liked ED before, but now we had a more expressive version of ED, which was pretty cool. And we got to learn a little bit about ED's backstory. And that was definitely my favorite part about the whole DLC. As a matter of fact, I would say that ED had more emotional and character depth than Ulysses. Because Ulysses was just, I don't know, his character got obscured by his convoluted speech pattern. And I would actually like to ask the question, whether we were supposed to take Ulysses seriously. I think that is a question that I have seriously been entertaining at points during the DLC. Whether maybe he's supposed to be a parody of the game itself, in a sense, because the game does like this kind of cryptic and melodramatic kind of language, in particular in the DLCs. We usually have it during like voiceovers in the epilogue, and sometimes we have NPCs who use this kind of language to a certain extent. I think the most prominent example so far other than Ulysses was the woman who was running the Thorn, Red Lucy. And you may remember that I ridiculed her for that as well, because it was a little bit too much in her case as well. But usually I actually thought that when they used this kind of enigmatic language, it was pretty well done. Like God used it to a certain degree, but not as much as Ulysses, and I think Father Elijah used it a little bit. But in their cases, it added to their character. And in Ulysses' case, it really just obscured his character. And that was kind of sad because, I don't know, I feel he may have had potential. Exploring a little bit of the Courier's backstory seems like an interesting idea, and bring up like a character, a person from her past. But yeah, sometimes I had a hard time taking him seriously, just like I had a hard time taking the Thorn Lady seriously at times. But the Thorn Lady was just like a quirky side character. So it was actually kind of fun, in a sense, to hear her talk like that. But Ulysses was supposed to be the villain, semi-villain, anti-hero of this DLC, and it's not a good sign if you can't take him seriously because of the way he talks. So yeah, I think previously, when they used this kind of over-the-top language, it worked out pretty well, like in epilogues of the DLCs, for example, where it added like a sense of mystery or conveyed a certain mood of melancholy or whatever. So usually they used it pretty well, but in Ulysses' case, they went a little bit too far, and if you obscure the meaning of your words so much, you end up saying nothing at all. And that is the impression that I got from Ulysses a lot of the times. And in the end, it makes you sound kind of pretentious. And that's certainly the way that Ulysses came across at times. Like I said, that little talk we had with him after the DLC was actually decent. I mean, he still had his particular speech pattern, but it was actually, intelligible, I would say. So, yeah, I don't know. They went a little bit too far with it during some parts of the DLC. So that is definitely one point of criticism that I had about it, because, like I said, if Ulysses had been more of an interesting character, I think it would have helped the DLC. And the other point is, and that's also something that I have already discussed during the DLC, is the lack of motivation for your character to actually be in this place. And I mean, I feel this is important because obviously if your character has no reason to be invested in what they're doing, it's also harder for me, the player, to be invested in the story. So yes, I've been playing it because, I wanted to see how the DLC ends, but I wasn't as invested in the story as I feel I should have been. So yeah, that is a problem. And it has been suggested in the comments that maybe the lack of motivation for the character is actually intentional, and that it's some kind of meta commentary of sorts. And if it is, then I don't know, maybe what they're trying to say is that you don't have to play this DLC. It's okay not to play a quest and just turn around and leave. And okay, yes, I agree with that as someone who has in the past decided to not do quests because I felt that they didn't agree with my character's personality. As a matter of fact, I've done it in this very game. I didn't finish some of the Legion quests, for example. When I had like the dialogue option where I could ask to join the Brotherhood, I didn't do it because I feel Hera wouldn't join the Brotherhood. And I've done it in previous RPGs that I played as well. Like, I don't know, I didn't pick a romance option in Mass Effect 2, for example, or in the very first game that I played on my channel, Dragon Age Origins. I remember there's like a quest line where you are supposed to do assassinations, and I decided that my character is not an assassin, so I rejected the quest. And whenever I do this, I usually explain that when I play a game, I want to get like the full experience, especially when I'm playing it for the first time. So I will usually do all the quests unless I feel very strongly about the quest opposing my character's personality. So in rare occasions, I will skip a quest, but I need to have like a very good reason for it. And lack of motivation is not good enough a reason for me not to play a quest. Especially since in this case, the quest was basically the entire game. It was the whole DLC. So not playing the DLC because I feel that it didn't fit her personality was a little bit too much, I think. So if that was the point they were trying to make. I fully agree that in an RPG, you should be free to just not do a quest if you feel that, you know, it doesn't fit your character. Now you could say that maybe that moment at the Ashton missile silo was supposed to be kind of like a moral stopgap, where you basically had the choice of launching a missile or just not playing the DLC. So are you going to do it anyway just because you want to complete the DLC? Is your character going to do another nuclear disaster or whatever? Okay, I can kind of see the point, I guess. However, I have to admit that I honestly didn't know that I would launch a missile when I switched that lever. And I think the game was trying to be deliberately vague about it. I mean, they didn't say that it was going to launch a missile. They said open silo. And the last time we had an exact terminal like that, back in the other missile silo, it opened a door. It didn't launch a missile. So I honestly had no reason to believe that pulling the lever would do anything but, you know, open the silo. I mean, I was a little bit confused about the text that I got when I looked at the door, which was, you have to finish the launch sequence to open. But again, I honestly didn't think that it would launch a missile. So if that missile was supposed to be some kind of, you know, quote-unquote test, where you could decide to either move on with the DLC just because you, the player, wants to play the DLC, or have your character launch a missile, then I feel they should have just said so. That, you know, you're going to launch a missile, because if you're being tricked into launching the missile, it's not really a decision, you know, not a moral decision for you to make. As a matter of fact, another thing that I want to talk about, that even if it had clearly labeled the lever as launch missile, I honestly still might have used the lever, because up until that point in the DLC, you have been exploding missiles left and right all the time with your laser, you know, all these warheads. Essentially the same kind of missile, right? Just, you know, the warhead without the actual rocket on it. So for like the entire DLC, you're being told exploding missiles is just a fun gameplay mechanic, and now suddenly it's supposed to be a serious issue that should give you pause and make you think twice about your actions. I don't know, there's just a weird tonal inconsistency here. So yeah, even if it had said launch missile, I may have launched a missile because, I mean, we have been destroying so many missiles already, and it didn't really do much damage. I mean, I could stand like 20 meters next to it without taking any damage, and the radiation would be gone like 10 seconds later. So, yeah, I probably would have said, okay, what the hell, I'm going to launch another missile. Why not? It doesn't really matter anymore, right? So, yeah, I honestly don't know what they were trying to achieve with that kind of meta commentary. As a matter of fact, if we agree that it is a meta commentary, that basically means when Ulysses was talking to you, telling you, you know, why are you even here? Is it just like curiosity and yes, I knew you would come because that's who you are and so on, then this would basically have been some kind of fourth wall break, and it was not Ulysses talking to the courier, but the writers of the game talking to the player, and that is just odd. I mean, it's almost a little bit condescending, like, how dare you play the DLC that we made for you? You shouldn't be playing this because it's pointless. Why are you here? I don't understand what they were going for here. In the end, it feels like an attempt to do something clever, but the only result is that they actually delivered a product that was not as good as it could have been, because they wrote a story that you're not really invested in. So, yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. I think the ideas were there in the DLC. I mean, I talked a little bit about it in the previous episode about the parallels between, you know, the DLC and the backstory of it. So I think there would have been a few interesting ideas in here if they had focused on the ideas and not the weird, kinda judgy meta commentary about how you maybe shouldn't play a DLC if it doesn't have a purpose. I don't know. The problem is obviously that the motivation for the player and the motivation for the character cannot be compared in such a form, because they exist on completely different levels. If I, the player, decide to play this DLC even though it's kind of pointless, in a worst case scenario I would have wasted a few hours of my time and a bit of electricity. So my risk for playing this DLC is very low. For your character, however, continuing on this endeavor, even though there is no real motivation for the courier to do so, is recklessly stupid. And this doesn't apply to the player. Like I said, for me it is just very risk-free to just say, okay, I'm going to play it because I'm curious. On the other hand, for Hera to say, I'm going to continue just because I'm curious is, well, definitely more questionable. And that's what I meant when I said you can't mix like the player motivation and the character motivation like that, because they are just not the same. So yeah, that's basically just a few thoughts that I had about the DLC. Like I said, I feel there were a few parts of it that were pretty good, and there was more potential in the DLC, but going for this meta commentary, if that's what they did, kinda ruined it for me, to be honest. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Did you like this DLC, or do you share my opinion? Let me know. But yeah, this actually took a lot longer than I expected, so we might be going back to a bit of assorted business in the next episode, like exploring Hoover Dam in more detail. And we may or may not actually continue the main mission in the next episode. We'll see about that. But for now, let's call it a day. As usual, thank you for watching, and see you again next time.